Welcome back to my video on the channel. In today's video, we are going to be explaining to y'all how to catch a bass depending on what the weather is outside. Let's get into it. Alright, so first off, let's talk about what is the weather. Well, pretty much the weather is sunny. The weather we're going to be talking about is going to be sunny weather, cloudy weather, and rainy weather, and cold weather, and we're pretty much going to cover the whole thing. But first things off, let's start off with talking about what is barometric pressure. It is basically when it's pretty much like the pressure of the air around it. So whenever the barometric pressure is falling, the bass are a lot more aggressive when it rises. Basically, whenever it's falling is when storms are coming, cold fronts are coming. That's when it's falling. When it's rising is after storms or after cold fronts is when it's rising, and bass don't like that. Basically, so whenever it's falling, the reaction baits are really good. Spinnerbaits, chatterbaits, buzzbaits, crankbaits, swim baits, other sort of stuff. Well, that's all when it's falling. Whenever it's rising, jigs, Texas rigs, drop shots, dead rigs, jigs, more jigs, finesse jigs, more jigs. Mosquito, got that boy. So yeah, it's pretty much what it is whenever it's falling and rising different. It's pretty different too. So that's barometric pressure. So whenever it's whenever it's falling, really good bass fishing, aggressive, fast moving baits can get them a lot. Whenever it's falling, slow moving baits, finessey, don't catch very many. Go slow. So while we're talking about barometric pressure, let's talk about water color. So pretty much, the more visible the water temperature is, the more natural colors you could go. You ain't getting third no chartreuse crankbait in 27. World War II plane coming overhead right now. Military's going checking on us here. Basically, whenever the water temperature is next, water visibility is high. Whenever you can see a lot in the water, you want to throw natural colors because the bass can see and detect whether it's a lure or whether it's real. And you want to be on more the real side than the lure side, so you want to throw your natural colors like your natural greens, your natural shad colors. But on the flip side, when it's muddy water, you want to throw your bright colors so the bass can actually see the bait. If you throw the same color of the bait as the water, you ain't going to catch very many bass as you do the black and blue color that you do the contrast with the water. Now that can not be true because you can still catch a lot of bass with natural colors in the dirty water, but that's for a different time, different topic, different day. Today's talking about weather. So now I've gotten barometric pressure, water color out the way. Before I talk about the weather, let's talk about water temperatures and how they affect the bass. Let's start off at the beginning of the year. I'll do one at a time. If the water is typically 50 to 55 degrees, it's when most of the time when bass move up to go spawn. Pretty much this pre-spawn phase. When it gets 50 to 55 degrees, bass will move up to spawn. Now that may be different depending on where you live. If you live up north, it could be like 40 or 45 degrees, or if we're down south, it could be 60 degrees. You never really know, but majority of the country is 50 to 55 degrees is the water temperature when the bass move up from the winter haunch and move up shallow to go spawn. And then 55 to about 60 is when the first wave of bass come to spawn, and then pretty much to 60 to 70 is when all bass come up to spawn. And then pretty much after 70, it's around 70 to 75, it's around post-spawn. Post-spawn's pretty much shad spawn, really good stuff, but that's for another day, different topic, not right now. And then pretty much once it gets above 85 degrees, bass get pretty sluggish. But their prime water temperature is 70 degrees to 85 degrees. That is the prime water temperature. Depending on if you're like in the summertime, fall is about 60 to about 80, 60 to about 75 is really good in the fall. But below 65, they get more sluggish. I mean, below 60 pretty much they get pretty sluggish, colder water. But even below that, like probably like 50 is like pretty much as low as they get real sluggish as they more do when it's 85. But they have a smaller strike zone, so it's harder to catch them when it's cold water than warm water. But water temperatures are for another day, another video. This is weather. Okay, first type of weather, post-frontal. Okay, son. Actually, no, it's not post-frontal. Let's do prefrontal. Okay, son. You get your windy. It's windy. Okay, it's cloudy. It's maybe not rainy. You hear the thunder in the distance. Okay, it's time to catch Thor, son. When you hear the thunder, prepare the hammer. Okay, you throw your spinnerbait out there. Bam! throw it out there, bam! Get you a stinking chowder donkey out there, bam, son. Okay? And then when the storm moves in, you get you a spinner bait or chat bait or a swim jig, and you when it's raining, you lightning bolt hit your pole, send an electric shock, bass sees that come and eats it, wham, son. Okay, I'm telling you, prefrontal and the frontal part, when it's raining, or lightning, or thundering, or storming, or tornadoing, hailing, or storm, that's the best time to go fishing. From the storm, from when it first started to come in, and when it all throughout it. But after that, it's called postfrontal. Probably the worst type of fishing you can do in every life. Pretty much bluebird skies, little to no wind, and cold water. Because usually when it rains cooler water. Now that could be opposite depending on if the water's cooler than the rain. But usually in summertime, it rains cool water so the rain cools down the top of the water column. So all the bass move from the top to the bottom. So pretty much, good rule of thumb is wherever you're catching them prefrontal, there's like back 10, 20, 30 feet off that. Like go down or up, or no, down or left or right, depending on if there's cover, dock, something like that. So go down 5, 10 feet, depending on how deep your lake is. Maybe 5 feet if your lake's only 15 feet deep or something like that. So basically, say you catch them in 2 feet, then go down about 7 or 8 until you start catching them again. And use like form finesse stuff like drop shots, dead rigs, jigs, stuff like that. Alright, so let's talk about the season. So pretty much the winter time, whenever there's warm fronts come through, that's when the bass get real active. So whenever the warm fronts come through, make sure to plan to go to the lake because they're going to get real active. They're going to come up spawning. But when they're cold fronts, it's not going to be real good. They're going to bring cold water. They're just going to not be good for bass fishing. But, okay, warm fronts in the wintertime are the complete opposite, son. In the summer, no. Warm fronts in the summertime are the complete opposite, son. Warm fronts, heat waves are terrible in the summertime because it makes this the hotter. So cold fronts, beginning of the cold front, really good. After the cold front, terrible. But the beginning of the cold front, real good. The barometric pressure just goes low, 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 low. And the bass just come up and just all over shad, bluegill, crawfish, whatever called, even though crawfish can't fly. They all fly on today. But you're really good to catch them in the prefrontal area stage of fishing, like pre-cold front in the summertime. But after cold front, pretty bad. Warm front, summertime heat wave, really bad, especially if it's down south. That means you're gonna get 120. And pretty much, if you're gonna fish in the rain, fish near the creeks because all that water's coming, pushing all the bait fish. So the bass are gonna be where all that water is coming and pushing them, especially in the pre-spawn. That's really where they're going to stack up because all that warm rainwater is coming down the creek and just warming up those coves and stuff, and where they're going to be. And during the rain, just pretty much just shallow cover. It's just they're feeding on pretty much everything and anything that can fit in their mouth. And there's like the factors, okay? Increased oxygen level because the fresh rain is coming down. That makes the bass more active. Lowering barometric pressure, that makes the bass more active, and the lower water temperature makes the bass more active, and the fact that the bait are moving around because it's raining, they don't know what the heck to do, that makes the bass more active, and the fact that a lot of anglers head inside of the rain because they're bums, okay, that makes them more active, and the fact that you can catch them makes them more active too, son, okay, like that. That's why you can catch them a lot of time when it's windy. But, not windy, rainy. Okay, now we're talking about when it's windy, son. It's a totally different story. Now, sometimes the wind can be a pain in the rear because it blows your line, get backlash, blows your boat awkward. But try to use the wind as your friend, okay, son? When it's very windy, fish the wind-blown banks because all the bait fish are just gonna get pushed that way because they're weak little boys and they can't sustain and go up against the wind. So they'll congregate in all these areas where the wind is just kind of being there, just being being pushed over there, over there, over there. So just kind of use the wind to its advantage. Use more aggressive lures because you probably can't use finesse lures. But if the wind stirs up the water column, so you don't really have to use finesse lures, but you may still have to use them every now and then. But still, use reaction kind of style lures so you can still catch them in the wind. And it just pretty much all the wind does, it just stirs up the water column and just pushes all the bait, so the bass have an easier time of getting them. That's pretty much all the way we talked about today. We talked about when it's sunny and hot. When it's hot, just pretty much just slow down. Catch, just finesse them, okay? When it's cold, finesse them. But when it warms up, that's your time to go fishing. We're not when it warms up, when it's cold, or when it cools down in the summertime. We talk about post-frontal, prefrontal, post-frontal, prefrontal, post-frontal, prefrontal, 2 different things. And then frontal was when it rains. And we talk about making windy. That's pretty much all that we have for y'all in today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe. So yeah, peace out, kids. Big. Oh, almost forgot to tell ya. It's the video of me catching a 6-pounder anyway. Let's get into it. And then out of that, peace out, kids. In one piece.
Goodness, dude. Oh, big bass, big bass. Oh my gosh, big bass. Sticky. 6-pounder. Oh my gosh, big, 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 big. I'm telling you, bro, it's big. It's massive. It's sticky massive. Oh my god. It's sticky massive, bro. It's sticky massive. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, it's massive. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, it's massive. Oh my gosh, it's like an 8-pounder, bro. It's like a stinking 8-pounder. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh my god. Okay, okay, where's that? Okay, broke the bus bait. Okay, we good. Oh my gosh. Bro. Are you stinking kidding me, bro? It's like a stinking 8-pounder. Oh, dude. Bro, you gotta be joshing my tots, dude. Ow. Oh my goodness, he bent the buzz plate. Oh, I nose ringed the guy. Bro. Oh my goodness. Stinking, not an 8-pounder, probably like a 6 again, but another 6, bro. Oh my goodness. Dude. On the stinking buzzbait, man. Bro. Oh, he's hurting my hand, bro. He's giant.